Welcome. I'm Roisin from Wiley and I'll be moderating today. Thank you for joining us for this webinar called Sustainable Science: Essential Lab Products for a Greener Tomorrow. We're delighted to have you join us as Sartorius showcases its commitment to sustainability in laboratory equipment. In this session, you will discover how their innovative products, made with renewable energy and recycled materials, are transforming sustainability goals into tangible benefits for people and the planet. You will learn about solutions for your daily lab work that can advance technical excellence while committing to a greener future. Our speakers today are both from Sartorius. Welcome to Kate Morgan, Regional Business Manager of Lab Essentials, and Marielle Schink from Corporate Sustainability. Kate brings extensive experience in pipetting, having started her career with the Forensic Science Services DNA database team. Marielle, with over 20 years of expertise in the life sciences industry, focuses on embedding sustainability strategies into products and corporate processes along the value chain. Welcome to you both. We're delighted to have you with us today. Just to let you know, this broadcast will be recorded and made available for on-demand viewing. We encourage you to use the chat during the presentations, and please ask any questions you may have, which I will address during the Q&A session afterwards. So now, without further ado, I'll turn the floor over to our speakers. Thank you.
We're super excited to be here with you today and to be here with the community to share about what we're doing to make science more sustainable. And that, you know who is speaking today. Again, this is us. I'm Marielle. I'm business partner in corporate sustainability, working for Sartorius headquarters now quite for a long time. And I really believe when we talk about sustainability, it is a great value, of course, and it is important to all of us on this planet. But as we are working, in an economic world, it is actually always around people, profit, and planet. Yeah, Kate, over to you.
Thank you, Marielle. So I'm Kate Morgan. I am the Regional Business Manager for EMEA. I have been with Sartorius for about 3 years now, coming up for 3 years. I'm really excited about the Sartorius and the things that we are doing to be more sustainable and to be able to create those products for our customers that allows them to be more sustainable, to hit their Scope 3 targets, and to help support our customers.
All right, then let's not wait any longer. Let's move in. And this is something I'm very passionate about to start with, because this is actually at our Sartorius, core and of everything that we do is our mission. Good health and well-being, you maybe know as one of the sustainable development goals, number 3, and it totally reflects in our mission that we help scientists and engineers to make medicine available faster and also more affordable with better therapies for more people. And as sustainability is one of our core values within Sartorius, of course, we are eager to transport that into the sphere that surrounds us. How do we do that? So first, of course, as we operate, we have big influence on implementing sustainable practices into our own working, into our factories, but also in parts of our administration. Then it's about what partners do we choose? Do they also practice sustainably? How is the value chain managed? And last but not least, this together is resulting in products that will support, just as Kate said, better products with improved sustainability so that our customers can achieve their sustainability goals. Just a short glimpse here Of course, we just don't say that. We also actively share how we stand. Yeah, we do this with ESG ratings, with reportings we have, but also with partnerships that are extremely important within our industry, to work together certain goals, and to also find common standards and methods how to progress forward with sustainability. Now, at Sartorius and at many other companies, I believe, people have made their minds around what has an impact, what is material to the business that we actually drive. And this is what you see here on the left-hand side. We have 5 big impacts with everything we do. Of course, it is climate, to the majority, but also on resources and circularity. We have a lot of products that are actually single-use plastic products, and here we have a big field of action to improve that. Then pollution can be a topic when it comes to the end of life scenario. And then, of course, the workforce, the own workforce, but also the workforce in the supply chain. And how do we manage that? Yeah, what governmental structures do we have? What culture do we actually foster? And I will have a short glimpse later on with you into what kind of actions we actually take, how that translates, with everything that we have found material, impactful, how we translate that into different actions. Let's look shortly into our climate strategy that we have. I believe it's super important that we will be committing, or we have committed to the Science-Based Target Initiative. Validation submission will be ready October this year. Then 2030 midterm targets. We follow up on the minus 10% CO2 equivalence emission intensity. And also very important, and we are progressing quite well with that, is the gross zero emissions, scope 1 and 2, and 100% renewable electricity for our own operations worldwide. Last but not least, of course, becoming net zero in 2045 in all scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. Now, having these targets in mind, and Sartorius is a manufacturer, so our superpower is basically that we make and we design our products. So, and knowing that roughly 80% of a product sustainability features, amongst other features, are locked in during the design phase. During the creation, during you think of the product, 80% of those decisions have an impact. In combination with that, knowing that we have set ourselves a target to have 75% of our total revenue made with products designed according to eco-design and circularity principles by 2030. And you could imagine, okay, great targets, but how do you actually do that? And let's look into that now. So when you have a product usually has a life cycle that starts with the first idea or with a problem that you find that is in an application, and you start to develop the solution around it. Then eventually, if it's successful, if it serves the needs from the customers, it will be brought into life, it will be launched, will be produced, it will be shipped around the world, it will be in use, and then when it's coming to its end of life, it will be disposed. Sometimes shorter when it's a consumable, sometimes longer when it's an instrument. And in the very first phase, and you see this here in the ideation, it is really about to understand the needs and requirements that are driven through sustainability, and to give them a weight amongst all the other requirements that you have, and to really take an informed decision what kind of levers are impactful to tackle on that certain product. Then to hand it over into the engineering, into manufacture, then later on into the use and distribution, and of course the end of life. But you see, the influence in the very beginning is absolutely important. Yeah, and this is what we're doing here at Sartorius within our design and procurement processes. During the development phase, we did have many stakeholders identified. Yeah, like operators, sales and marketing. There could be a lot others. Just to say, sustainability. This is like a stakeholder for us. Yeah, with different needs. They can be driven from regulatory. They can be driven from market. They can be driven also from economical factors. And this is very important to combine those, put them into the requirements, and build them into the solutions that are most effective and most of benefit also for the customer. Yeah, and now it's time to go from this theory to practice, and I'm super happy to hand over now to Kate to show us some examples of that.
So thank you, Marielle, for introducing my part. So I'm going to be looking at theory to practice, as Marielle has said. And in this section, I'm going to highlight 7 products that we have designed or modified with sustainability and life cycle thinking in mind. So the first product that we're going to look at is the Viva Flow. The Viva Flow has been in our portfolio for a number of years, but we had the opportunity to make some sustainable changes with a new design and manufacturing process. So our original Viva Flow had very thick plastic balls, was like this. And with our new design, we've managed to reduce the plastic material by 30% to create a much slimmer product. And we've also changed our plastic pellets supply to bio-based. And this has been certified by the ISCC. So this is another way in which we've improved our sustainability. We also looked at our supply chain and manufacturing process, and by bringing it all together into one place, because before we had it moving to different parts of the UK, we've been able to reduce the distance our raw materials and parts travel by more than 8.5 kilometers. So our next product is our pipette tips. Now these again are manufactured in our site in Finland this time, and we've made a lot of investment in modern technologies to enhance product quality, but as well as minimizing production waste. So up to 98% of the plastic component of the waste is recovered. The production plants in not just in Finland, but in Germany and other places now operate on 100% renewable electricity. And in Finland in particular, any waste heat that is created during manufacturing is actually repurposed. So we use that waste heat to heat up our offices. We have a number of packaging options within our tip family, and this allows our customers to choose what's the more sustainable option for their needs. And one of those options is the refill tower. Now with the refill tower, we also have an ACT label attached to it. This is from an independent third party, like Green Labs, that assesses the different sustainability factors. And as a result of their assessment, we have achieved the ACT label. Our electronic pipettes, again, are manufactured on site in Finland. And with this product, we really wanted to consider the life cycle. So we wanted to make sure that it was easy to maintain. And with regular service and calibration, we actually increased the longevity of this product. Not only that, but we wanted to make sure that at the end of its life, it is really easy to disassemble for recycling. And so on most models, no glue has been used to stick the component parts together, which is great for the end user because it means that you can disassemble it and recycle those parts without the worry of there being any contamination. Our next product, the Quintix Pro, is manufactured at our site in Göttingen. in Germany. And again, like other manufacturing sites in Sartorius, it is using 100% electricity come from renewable sources. Within the Crotix Pro, we are recycling the scrap aluminium, and some of that is actually being reused in parts of the instrument. So the base plate, for example, contains 20% recycled aluminium. Also, in the design of the instrument, we considered how we could provide energy savings for the end user, and we designed a deep standby mode, which provides a 50% energy efficiency. With the Sarto Lab RFBT, we optimized the funnel design, which meant that we obviously used less material in that funnel, but also it allowed us to consider our packaging and our packaging design. And we realized that we could actually redesign the packaging so that it actually became narrower. And this meant that, firstly, we used less packaging material. So, for example, the film was reduced by 22% and the cardboard by 11%. But it also allowed us to look at how we shipped these products on pallets. And because we'd redesigned the funnel and therefore redesigned the packaging and made the packaging more narrow, it meant that we could actually fit 50% more products onto the pallet, which also allowed us to reduce shipping space and shipping costs. BioSart 250 funnel is also manufactured in Germany using 100% renewable electricity, as we discussed earlier. It is designed so that it can be autoclaved up to 50 times. And this means that there is a reduction in resources and waste by up to 95% compared to the single-use products. It's also very efficient in its filtration, so it can be done much quicker, again, reducing resources. And we've used an eco-friendly material, polypropylene, which is optimal for durability, for the autoclaving, and also for the sealing. Finally, the last product that I want to talk about is the Arium Pro and the Arium Comfort, which are in our lab water products. And in this design, we have the option of the iJust software. Now, the iJust software is very clever because it optimizes the performance of reverse osmosis technology. So during installation, the service technician can test the feed water for hardness and the carbon dioxide content. And these values are then stored in the system. The iJust software then uses this information to determine the amount of water required for the cleaning cycles, and also the amount of energy it needs to use with the EDI module. So becoming much more efficient as a product and saving the end user on energy and water resources. And finally, all this information and a little bit more is available in our sustainability fact sheets, which are highlighted here. And if you scan the barcode, it will take you to a section on our webpage where you can find them. So from both Marielle and myself, I would just like to say thank you very much for listening, and we look forward to any questions that you may have for us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Q&A session. Now, unfortunately, Marielle couldn't join us for this one, but Kate Morgan is here. Welcome, Kate, and thank you for that wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Now, we have a few questions, so let's jump right in. Kate, how does the switch to bio-based materials in the VivaFlow, or is it VivaFlow, excuse me, contribute to overall sustainability? And are there any trade-offs in terms of product performance or cost?
Yes, so it is VivaFlow, is how we pronounce it. It's obviously reducing the reliance on fossil fuels and therefore decreasing the carbon footprints. So bio-based materials are obviously derived from renewable sources, and this obviously helps in conserving the natural resources. In terms of product performance, obviously lots and lots of tests have been done to ensure the performance is as good with these bio-based products as they were with other products. So there should be no trade-off in terms of the performance of the VivaFlow.
Wonderful. Next question, Kate, can you elaborate on the process of achieving 98% plastic waste recovery for pipette tips, which is amazing? And the second part of that question is, what challenges were faced in transitioning to 100% renewable energy for their production?
In terms of the 98% plastic waste recovery, obviously we had to look at how we do that. Obviously, it's just simply that we collect it, and then any that we can, some of it may or maybe used to go back into the pipette boxes, and then parts of the plastic that perhaps we can't put back into the pipette boxes is then sent for recycling with our registered recycling provider. In terms of transitioning to 100% renewable energy, obviously there had to be, and actually it's electricity, not energy. So that obviously meant a few infrastructure changes and obviously an investment from us into the energy sources. But obviously this is all for the benefit of not just us, Sartorius, but obviously our customers in achieving their scope 3. So there's been a significant reduction, obviously, in our carbon emissions over time.
Amazing. Thank you. Just to let the audience know, keep your questions coming in, use the chat and ask Kate anything you'd like to know while we have her here, while we have her expertise here. So let me move to another question about the PICUS. The PICUS 2 is designed for easy maintenance and recycling. How does the absence of glue in its assembly impact the durability and functionality of the product?
Again, before we put any products out, we obviously do lots and lots of testing to ensure that our products have the same durability and functionality as they had previously. Of course, the great thing about not using glue in the PICUS 2 is it does mean that in terms of functionality of the product, it means that at the end of its life we can disassemble, so therefore we can easily recycle those parts, which of course reduces our waste and helps with that circular environment that we're looking for. Wonderful,
thank you. We have a question here about the BioSart 250 funnel. With the funnel being autoclaved up to 50 times, what measures are in place to ensure its performance remains consistent over multiple uses? And how does this compare to single-use alternatives in terms of cost effectiveness?
Okay, so again, as I said previously, tests are always done to ensure that the product is of a high quality, as it always is. We want to provide high quality products for all our customers. It's obviously made from materials that can withstand those high temperatures and pressures. So we ensure reliability and safety in repeated use. And obviously, by being able to autoclave, we're reducing resources and use and waste, as I said, by 95%. So this obviously makes it a cost-effective and more environmentally friendly choice, because you're not having to buy new instead of you can autoclave it, so you're not having to buy new products or more new products.
Thank you. Let me see. We have just one more question coming in, Kate. This might be the last one. Where can we find more information about what Sartorius does on sustainability?
So if you head to our website, at the top of the page, you will find company. And if you click on company, then you will see a sustainability link there. So that's one way. Another really easy way, which I think is even easier, is just type sustainability into our search box. And if you click on the web pages, you can click the first one up is sustainability, and that takes you straight to the page.
Brilliant. Very helpful further reading and resources there. We'll check it out. So as there are no more questions, we can wrap up the Q&A session here. So that concludes our webinar for today. Thank you very, very much to Sartorius, who sponsored this webinar. Thank you to Kate and Marielle for their enlightening presentations. And of course, to all of you who are watching, thank you for being here. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.